to the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, the Eagles are coming off their Super Bowl win. The Super Bowl win in 2024 NFL season, but they also lost a lot of key parts of their defense this offseason. They lost Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, and Oren Burks, just to name a few. Guys, in 2024 NFL season, the Philadelphia Eagles had a top-tier defense, a top-5 defense most of the season. Will they still be a top-tier defense in 2025 NFL season? Now, despite losing Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, and Oren Burks on the defensive side of the ball, they're still pretty stout on defense. They're still pretty stout. They probably still have the best front seven in the NFL, and their secondary does have some holes to fill, but hey, they have 8 draft picks this NFL season. This NFL draft coming up in 12 days or whatever. They have 8 picks in the first 5 rounds. They don't have anything 6 or 7, but they have their 32nd overall pick, the 64th overall pick, the 96th overall pick, the 129th overall pick, which is in the 4th round, and they have 3 5th-round picks as well. So obviously, I see the Philadelphia Eagles building back their defense via draft. I expect them to draft an edge rusher, a linebacker, and a cornerback in this year's draft, while adding depth to the offensive line and potentially maybe drafting a wide receiver or a running back, I should say. But let's just be honest. The biggest hole on the whole team is the defense of depth. They still have a great back seven. They still have a great front seven, right? But they need a nice little edge rusher. They need some linebacker help. They will definitely be a top 10 defense in 2025. There's no question in my mind whatsoever. So, guys, let me ask you guys this in the question. Will the Philadelphia Eagles be a top 10 defense in 2025? The Philly D says, I'm saying they go 2-4 in the division, not having a good year, meaning the Commanders. Drew says, yeah, the Eagles. The Eagles will be a top 10 defense, says Drew. And Drew says, let me take it one step further, Buck. I know Drew's not writing this, but I read in people's minds. I'm telepathic or teleplegic or whatever. I read people's minds. Drew says the Eagles are going to have the best defense in the NFL. That's what Drew is saying. Drew is saying the Eagles are going to be dogs. Back-to-back Super Bowl champions, baby! Drew is a Cowboys fan and an Eagles fan. I'm joking. Let's Go Sports says they will not be back-to-back, but I think Philly will still have a good season. If teams can guard Saquon a little better and get around the defense a little bit better, they will lose more games. And Let's Go Sports. Let's flash back to the Super Bowl. The game plan for the Kansas City Chiefs was to simply take Saquon Barkley out. That was actually one of my keys to victory for the Kansas City Chiefs was to limit Saquon Barkley. Do not let him get 100 yards. Hell, keep him under 50 yards and you're going to win this game. I did not expect Jalen Hurts to go off the way he did. I did not expect Jalen Hurts to just say, this is my game, this is my team, hold my beer, let's go, baby. I did not expect that Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff to be able to shift to Jalen Hurts so quickly. But let's just be honest. They probably in the back of their mind said, hey, Saquon's been a dog. He's had like 400 yards rushing these last 3 NFL games, in the playoffs. If I'm playing to stop the Eagles, I'm gonna stop Saquon. Hurts, be ready. You cannot stop Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley at the same time. It's kind of like pick your poison. Do you want to get beat through the passing game or do you want to get beat through the running game? Now, I do expect Saquon Barkley to slow down a little bit, right? Father Time is undefeated, and Saquon Barkley has yet to have back-to-back healthy seasons ever in his NFL career. Now, maybe that was just playing with like the Giants, and the Giants are whatever. It's like it is a Giants. I could be wrong, but Saquon Barkley, I think, will not have a 2,000 yard season. Probably about 1,500. They will use him less, try to save him for the playoffs, and I could see potentially a down year, air quotes there. Philly D says, what does he say? Says we're hoping Hunt and Smith have big years. We lost players, but I think we're done. We are done adding. So Philly D says they're going to add some more players. Obviously, via draft, they have what was it, 8 draft picks in the first 5 rounds? That's awesome. Build that depth, build that team up. What is the general manager's name? Howie, dang it, what's his name? Howie. He's been doing great in Philly for the last 6 years. Ever since Jalen Hurts has come into town, they've been adding depth. They've been drafting amazing. Pretty much anybody from Georgia on defense and like anybody from Alabama on the offense, it's golden, baby. But yeah, I think you're right. Let's Go Sports says they lost a lot of veterans on defense, so definitely need to replace that in the draft. But that will lead to younger defense, which is why I think they'll not go back to back. I mean, the Super Bowl. Winning is a very powerful thing. Let's Go Sports. Winning is a confidence thing, right? Me as a incoming freshman, I was not a brick shit house. I was not the fastest guy on the field. I was not the biggest guy on the field, but I had a winning background. In my high school career, we lost 3 total games. They were all to the same team in the same part of the playoffs, but we lost 3 total games in my whole high school career. I went to a junior college that was a 500 team. They were 5-5. Fort Scott Community College. We walked in there and we had swag. Me and a couple of my teammates that came down there with me, we had swag because we knew what it took to win. We were not the biggest, we were not the fastest, we certainly weren't the strongest. We were 3 white boys from the middle of Kansas, raised in a cornfield, legitimately in a cornfield, going down to Fort Scott, the hood. We had confidence. Confidence cannot be beat. When you are confident, no matter how old you are, how good you are, how bad you are, confidence is a very, very real thing. The Eagles defense, the Eagles team going to have a lot of confidence going into 2025. The last time they went to the Super Bowl, granted they lost, they started off the season 11-0. Confidence was high. They were clicking. Baby mama drama later, whatever, we'll figure it out. But it is what it is. Charlie says no. They will not be a top 10. They will not have repeat success for the Philadelphia Eagles on the defense. They will not be a top tier defense in 2025. It's tough. Let's Go Sports says, but let's just be honest. The passing game for the Eagles can go off every once in a while, but without Saquon and some of those defensive playmakers, they do not win the Super Bowl. Saquon carried them. Not in the Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley was a non-factor in that Super Bowl. It was the defense. It was that front 4. It was Jalen Carter. It was Cooper DeJean. It was that linebacker Dean, right? The defense was killer for the Kansas City Chiefs. They had them on locked. Let's Go Sports says, I am curious how they will do without Kellen Moore. They brought in a guy who is in-house guy, I think, so some similarities, but still have difference off his line coordinator and play caller. This is what's great about this is what makes good teams great, is the ability to promote within, to kind of keep the same system, keep the same players, keep everything in-house, right? Because if you look at the last Super Bowl run that the Eagles had, they lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator in the same year. Shane Steichen went to the Colts, and what's his face went down to the Arizona Cardinals. Can't think of his name right now, but they lost both of those guys. Next season they start off 11-0. Now, I'm not saying the Eagles are going to start 11-0. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated. I'm not saying they're going to go back to back, but they're hungry and they're going to eat. They are going to eat. Old Man River says, agree about Saquon, but Hurts performed as well. Jalen Hurts, listen, I do not understand why Jalen Hurts gets so much hate that he does. Is it the Dak Prescott thing? You know, he gets so much hate because he's a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Does Jalen Hurts get so much hate because he's a Philadelphia Eagles quarterback? I don't know. But I was a Jalen Hurts non-believer. Old Man River, you were part of the Pigskin Pundits. Drew, you were there. We broke down Jalen Hurts film year by year by year by year. Jalen Hurts' stats get better every year. His ability gets better every year. His IQ gets better every year. His leadership gets better every year. Now, obviously, last year, his stats did not improve. But his ability, his IQ, his everything improved for Jalen Hurts last season. Jalen Hurts does what is asked. He does what is asked, and it's just that is all you can do at the end of the day. You do what is asked, and the world will love you for it. Just it is what it is. Guys, my eyes are burning. My bad. Ugh. Barkley did not carry the Eagles. Hurts calling. Dang it. Hang on. My bad, guys. Barkley did not carry the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Hurts calling his own protection opened up the field for Barkley. Barkley hardly had touch after 3 yards. Saquon Barkley was not a non-factor. All right, guys, let's go to over.